What's up, LHT? I hope you're having a great week. Welcome to week 2 of Digging Deeper. Come on, I'm excited to be with you today. But before we start, we had 7 more people subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is amazing. If you've not subscribed yet, click that subscribe button. And then right next to that button, there's a little bell. Click that bell so that you get all the notifications of when we post new content. Hey, I'm so excited to dig a little bit deeper today into Sunday's message. As you know, we are in a series right now called Renaissance. We're in the series because we have this deep feeling that God is stirring up a renaissance, a rebirth, that something is about to break out. And we're so excited for this season. And so we're walking through some different concepts and stories and ideas that are going to reframe our mind to get ready for this renaissance that's breaking out. And last Sunday, we looked at one of the shortest stories that Jesus ever tells in the Bible. It's a parable, which is a story that invites its readers into God's activity in the world. And he tells this story, real short, but it's so powerful. He says there was a merchant looking for fine pearls. And when he discovered one of great value, he sold all he had and he bought it. We broke that down together, but this week, as I was thinking about the message, it reminded me of another story in the Gospels. Now, this story is not a parable like that story. It's not a story that Jesus made up, but this is an actual conversation that Jesus had with someone. The story goes like this. There was a man that came up to Jesus, and he was a rich, young ruler. Come on, when you think about that, a rich, he has everything going for him. Rich, young ruler. He's got his money, he's got his youth, he's got power. This is a man of clout and status. And when we look at somebody like that, we think to ourselves, they've got everything together. They're not missing a thing. They must be so joyful and so happy and so fulfilled. And yet he comes to Jesus and says, Jesus, something is missing. Sometimes the people who look like they have it all together on the outside have internal things that they are still searching for, which is why you should never count anyone out of needing God's grace. But this man comes up to Jesus and he says, there's something missing. And then he says this, what good thing must I do in order to get eternal life? This man is looking for eternal life, which doesn't mean life after you die. It means the fullness of life right now that you can enter into, and it will just never end. It'll even outlast this life. And he's saying, Jesus, something is missing. What good thing must I add? What can I do? What can I buy? I'm a man of power and wealth. What can I do? What can I get? And I want to read Jesus's response to him. Matthew chapter 19, beginning in verse 21, says this, and Jesus said, well, you've got everything together, but if you want to be perfect, go sell all your possessions and give them to the poor, and then you will have treasure in heaven, and then come follow me. It says, when the young man heard this, he went away sad because he had great wealth. If you want to be perfect, this word perfect means complete. If you want to fill that hole in your life, if you want to be filled, complete, go sell everything and give it away. Do you see the irony right here? Jesus is like, you want to be full? Go empty yourself. You want to be full of my treasure? Go empty yourself of all of your treasure. In order for Jesus to fill your heart with what he has for you, you will first have to begin to empty the storehouses of your soul with all of the treasures that you have been accumulating. And Jesus says, if you want to be complete, you've got to empty your life of all that you have. The thing about the kingdom is that the kingdom is always both counter-cultural and counterintuitive, which means that when the kingdom speaks, it's always counter the culture. It's always against what culture says. Culture says if you want success, it's going to happen when you're rich, young, and ruling. But the kingdom says, no, if you want to be full, it becomes when you empty everything. It's countercultural, but it's always counterintuitive. It's never what you think at first. It's never the first thing that our human minds wrestle with. It's always countercultural. It's always counterintuitive, which is why Jesus says stuff like this in the Gospels. Whoever wants to find their life will lose it. But if you'll lose your life for my sake, you'll find it. That's countercultural. That's counterintuitive. And yet it's the only pathway to a full life. And Jesus challenges this man. Go and sell all that you have. What I love though is that Jesus challenges all three aspects of his identity. The text introduces him as rich, young, ruler. And Jesus says, you've come in rich, but why don't you sell it all and become poor? You're a ruler. Why don't you come follow me? Give up ruling and become a follower. You've got your young freedom, but why don't you give up your freedom and become my student? Jesus will always challenge the things that you find your identity in when those things are not Jesus. Here's my challenge for us today. It is this: are you willing to release your treasure so that Jesus can become your treasure? Perhaps what we need to do this week collectively is to spend some time alone in prayer and meditation and ask God to show us the things in our life that we've been treasuring. And if it seems to you countercultural, and if it seems to you counterintuitive to rid yourself of these things, that just might be the sign that you're on the right road. I love you guys, and I cannot wait for week 3 of Renaissance. Make sure you subscribe and sign up for notifications, and we will see you in the chat on Sunday. Have a great week.